Hey, it's good to see you. You know, you never know what's going to happen. When you do genealogical research, you got to be prepared for just about anything. So join me now as we hear one of those little episodes. Hi, it's Mark Lowe with Kentucky Tennessee Research and Associates. It's a cold winter day in Tennessee, and so it's good to be in here where there's some research going on. And, you know, in spite of the fact that I've told you many times I've been researching virtually my whole life, I love the days that are kind of just like find something different and discovery. Often I walk around with all the things kind of around me in this house and looking for stuff, for example. And I know that I kept things, but I picked this up, and this is a token, and it won't be good because of the light, I know, but those of you can see it. It's a token from the 1982 World's Fair. Well, I guess I had it turned over. And it's a Ms. Pac-Man token. And I just think it's totally neat. From the time period, that was pretty new to have video games back then, and I kept that in one of my keepsake boxes, and I pulled it out and I was looking at it, and I'm just like, wow, it's a memory of something, of a particular time in a particular place. Do you know my family has always been kind of crazy about collecting things? Sometimes I say we're hoarders, sometimes I'm just proud we collect. But in the process of finding things, what is their meaning? You know, what do they relate to? Today, too, I was also holding a bill clip that's engraved. It was a gift to me with a date. When people do things like that, it's the significance of that memory. So, as we're looking at that today, I think that's kind of what I'm thinking about. Genealogy literally links us together, but more important, be prepared to find almost anything. Are you ready for this? I mean, I have found things like this before, but I was looking for some people connected to me. And in fact, the person I was researching is on this page, but not the ones involved in this direct court action. So in this court record, which was found with deeds, this is from a deed book in Granville County, North Carolina. So the actual kind of image that I captured, well, I was reading the deed just prior to this, and then immediately right there it says, these are to certify that yesterday I happened unfortunately to bite off the lower end of John Rogers' right ear, for which I have given my obligation to him for satisfaction when paid in the presence of, and then there's a list of witnesses. It's back in April of 1786. By Spencer Carroll. Now, Spencer Carroll is not necessarily related to me. He may be related to you. And if so, I wonder, does he have a history of biting the lower right ears of other folks? You know, I wonder why John Rogers had so aggravated Mr. Carroll that he led him to that process. You know, you could just about find anything. So I'm going to encourage you in my regular thing of finding some new records. It made me think about some funny situations and some not so funny. But this is J.H. Spencer's A History of Kentucky Baptist. It was published, it's in a 2-volume set, and it was published covering the time period of the early Baptist church through the mid of the 19th century. And it's available on HathiTrust at that link at the top. And there are 2 volumes there. It's also available in 2 volumes on Google Books. And one of the reasons I've always thought that Spencer's history is so interesting is in the biographies and in those little sketches, they sometimes point out things that I just think are unusual. Now, this is one of my ancestors, Samuel Greathouse, and it talks about how he was awakened almost in that moment that he became alarmed about the safety of his soul. And so at a house raising, he was carrying up one of the corners of the building when a fork with which the men on the ground had pushed up the log split open, allowed the log to roll back, by which the 2 men were instantly killed. He asked the question, would have become of my soul if I had been one of those men? It was not long, so that was at the beginning of the 19th century, and it goes on to tell about his role as being a Baptist minister and some of the problems that he got into. He slandered a fellow brother and never went away, and it talks about how he ended his days. He died on a dark day, kind of thing. Sometimes, in fact, with the seriousness of those moments, I do think it's good for us to look at those resources, and occasionally we'll find something that just makes me laugh. It continues on in there. It says, Mr. Greathouse left a respectable family, of whom his youngest son, Thomas, became a Baptist preacher of small gifts and a teacher and composer of vocal music. I love the fact that as these are collected, and lots of other folks compiled and wrote these besides just Spencer, but he compiled the book, and it often will tell who wrote or said these things. Often it's almost like a dig occasionally when he points out part of the biography of a Baptist minister, that on his best day he often could hold the crowd for 10 minutes. I mean, these are the kind of things that reading the style makes you appreciate and understand how these things were collected and compiled over the time period. I just challenge you. I want you to do this. I want you to take a look at something new. On some cold day and you're having a bad day, let's have a little fun. I don't want you to look for a specific record this time. I want you just to learn about a resource. I want you to pull something you've not looked at before, or if you have, look at it with a different perspective. Maybe go look at Spencer's History of Kentucky Baptists, because trust me, there's some great stories in there. You'll roll on the floor almost with the laughter of some of these biographies. Learn about the resource. You know, one of the great things about genealogy in general is the fact that we constantly have the opportunity to learn something new. I hope that the day comes that I'll be able, always wanting to learn something new. Sometimes my curiosity is so great that I just can't put things down. Even when I need to learn on that. I need to work on that one. But the fact that I can learn something new from a resource is something I want to share and challenge that with you, okay? Take a look at something new. Not to find a specific record, but to learn about the resource. I mean, I think that's a fair challenge. Now, when you do that, you may also be prepared for anything, because you're going to find things that you did not realize were in that record. You will be surprised. So I want you to keep working. I want you to keep having fun. And remember, genealogy links us all together. It's always a great way to find new stuff. But in the meantime, enjoy the research. And by the way, if you like what we're doing, join us. Keep up with what's going on. Subscribe. If you have any comments or questions, or if you find something you think you just want to share with all of us, put it down in the notes before. As always, I'll put the links to those books in the notes before. And thanks always for joining. Keep up the good work. Have a good day researching. And stay warm. See you later.